I'm Carly Harvey. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm known as D.C.'s Queen of the Blues. And this is my debut at the Waterfront Blues Festival, and hoping to come back for many, many more years.
And how did your musical journey begin, and what inspired you to pursue a music career?
Ooh, I like this question. Both of my parents are musicians. Oh, by the way, I'm sure you'll cut this out. I don't know which way to look. I'm going to look here.
No, you can look anywhere. No, it's all fine.
I can look anywhere I want.
Anywhere. You could look up at the sky if you want.
Well, okay. I'll look at you. This is a little more personal. So both of my parents are musicians, and so I was exposed to a very eclectic, I don't know, vault of music, if you will, from a young age. But started out playing violin, and when I was a kid, it was like, I want to be a violinist and a fireman. And then it was like, and then I decided I would start singing because violin didn't work out. And then I was like, I want to be a singer and a doctor. I want to be a poet and a singer. And I want to be a lawyer and a singer. So, you know, that phase kids go through where they want to be an astronaut or all these things. Being a singer was always attached to it. And so I had like a scholastic career of all of the choirs you could possibly be in, like all state, all county, and then all of the levels of choir you can do in school. So I think I knew from a really young age that music was my path, and I stopped doing music classically after college and just mainly focused on blues at that time, and here we are.
All right, that's a great answer. Can you tell us about your creative process and your approach in songwriting?
Ooh. So a couple of my songs, my dad passed away when I was about 21, so in like the middle of or at the very beginning of my senior year of college, and after that kind of like healing process, he started coming to me in my dreams to like give me bass lines to sing, and so a lot of my songs that are bass line heavy are from my father. They're not mine. So,
okay.
But there's no copyright infringement because it's my dad who's in my dreams. So. But yeah, that's part of my process. I get a bass line and then I kind of create the song around that. So in particular, there's a song called Worth Waiting For, and everything is arranged around that really strong driving bass line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what are your biggest musical influences, and how have they shaped the sound and your style? I know you mentioned your father.
Yeah. So, yeah, my father was a funk bassist, but of course, funk has its root in blues. And my mom was a jazz singer, and jazz has its root in blues. And she, you know, we grew up listening to jazz and blues in the house. And so my music influences are like all over the place. So, of course, there's like the Queens, you know, Aretha Franklin, and I would say Mahalia Jackson. Like, she's like, you know, blues, like gospel blues, I would call her.
Mm-hmm.
But more modern, I really love Susan Tedeschi because, you know, I found her to be like a younger person, kind of, you know, honoring the origin of blues while modernizing the genre. So she's a modern influence, but they go from like, there's Nina Simone, and then there's Bonnie Raitt, and then there's Ella Fitzgerald, and Led Zeppelin, you know,
100%.
Joplin.
100%, because it's really noticeable, because your music actually often blends different genres and styles, and it's extremely noticeable. So that's really cool for you to actually say that. Even Led Zeppelin's a really good name drop on that.
Yes, yes.
So what message or emotion do you hope to convey through your music, and how do you connect with your audience on a deeper level?
I guess every song has a different message, but what I really hope for people to do is feel touched and heal. Like, even if the song is like, that man is wrong and look what he did, sometimes just like honoring the space you're in and being authentic and saying it out loud is part of your healing journey. And some people do their grieving inside, so all of my songs are from real experiences, and I think in the past I wasn't so straightforward about that because I was like, well, people will be judging me or something like that, and I'm like, no, this is real life that people encounter, and so these are my stories, and whoever can relate to those stories can find some way to connect with it. And I always emphasize, like, I don't sing performative music. Like, I know that I'm entertaining and I like to make people laugh and have fun, but if you're like seeking anything fake, this is not the place to come.
Exactly.
This is like coming to church.
Right.
When you come to one of my shows, it's for, like, you want the feels and you want to feel moved.
Right. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too, because your latest album got a lot of critical acclaim and everything, and it seems like I would ask you what would be your insights and inspiration on that, but you pretty much answered that already, like just your life and just things you're going through and doing.
Yeah.
So great. So I had to think about that for a second. I was saying, it's beautiful responses. I'm sorry, beautiful responses.
Oh, thank you.
What has been the most memorable and transformative performance or like experience that you've had touring so far?
Okay, so yeah, the festival performance was amazing because I was the first show, but I was on the main stage. I was like, yay! And this is my first stop on my summer tour, and it was a beautiful experience. I got to use up all of the space on the stage, and people who weren't planning to come over there, like some people were on the other main stage and they had their chairs set up, and I watched them pick up their chairs to come over to me, and maybe they'd never heard of me before, and I was like, well, that's a beautiful feeling. But I think the most, I needed to like process what happened on the boat, the Salem Sister Cruise. At the end of the show, people were like chanting my name, which I've never experienced that before. Like, and I could tell that people just came to me and they said, this song in particular touched me. I felt so moved. And sometimes I'm recording a new album of all original music, and I have a song that's really different in energy from the rest of my music, but it needs to be there as like not as a placeholder, but just as space for a peaceful release and meditation and reflection. And when people responded well to that song, I was like, they like it? Like, it has to like click for you. Like, oh my God, they like this song that I've been feeling uncertain about. Like, I'm not sure how people will, receive it, and to know it was received well, and to know that I've fulfilled my purpose of providing music that touches people, that moves them, and is healing for them. I just had to sit in the car with my friend, and I just like cried, and I cried multiple times on the stage. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it was beautiful, and I think even at home I don't get responses like that to my music. Okay. Yes, that's the most transforming, because I'm currently transforming now. That was only 2 days ago.
Right.
I'm currently still processing that, like, wow, I think my album, once it's complete, it might, I don't know what will happen, but I know there's some beautiful space for it, and people who are waiting to hear it, and that just makes me feel fulfilled. Like, even if I don't win a Grammy or a BMA or whatever, I know that there's thousands of people waiting to hear my record just from these first 2 days here in Portland.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's end it with this. What would you give as a message to an inspiring female artist right now trying to just come out there?
Authenticity is a longer path, but it is the path to take. That's all I can say. Just be really true to who you are, and honor yourself and what you want. Don't create a package you think other people want. Really, really love the package that you have to offer,
right.
and be genuine with your music, and the reward for that is far greater than anything superficial or materialistic. It just is.
It's a beautiful answer. Thank you, Carly, for giving me this time and doing this interview. I know you had to come back for me to do this and everything before you left and everything. Thank you, thank you. Your answers have been so humble. Thank you so much.
Thank you.